The ruling class is really, really weird. It's getting really bizarre, really out there. Okay, and at the international level, the level of these groups that transcend nations, like the United Nations, one of their obsessions is climate change, because climate change used to be global cooling, then it was global warming, then it was climate change. Now I guess they call it climate crisis or climate catastrophe. It is this apocalyptic prediction that tells us the end of the world is imminent unless we give them all the money and all the power, and so we gotta just go along with it. They are now playing at the UN for world leaders a really scientific, erudite, serious video of a dinosaur lecturing everybody about extinction.
Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now. As you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic, this is humanity's big chance.
Three really important aspects here to the dinosaur lecturing the world leaders. A sentence I never thought I would utter. First of all, he goes back to this ridiculous, the dinosaur does, he goes back to this ridiculous talking point that you hear a lot from the environmentalist lunatics, and he says, you're subsidizing fossil fuels. Your governments, your taxpayer dollars are subsidizing rich old Uncle Pennybags at the oil company. What does that mean? That obviously isn't true. So what does he mean by that? We're just giving direct payments to the oil tycoons? That's what's going on? Why are we doing that? Why would we do that? Why would taxpayers and why would the government, just even from a political optics standpoint, why would they subsidize the oil companies? Because they are paying for poor people to heat their homes, among other things. What do you think oil subsidies means? The government is paying oil companies and buying oil, one, because it has its own needs for oil, but two, as part of a welfare program for poor people to heat their homes. So is your argument, no, the poor people should freeze. That way the sun monster won't be angry and we can appease the great sun god and then he won't destroy the world in 18 months or 12 years or whatever. They keep changing the number. No, I don't think that. I am more interested in helping the poor people heat their homes in the winter, helping widows and orphans stay warm in the winter, than I am in protecting a rock or the Delta smelt or even the polar bears, who are doing just fine, by the way. That's the first part that's so ridiculous. The second part that is so ridiculous is that he's already, by the end, the dinosaur is, already taking it beyond climate change, beyond this one issue of, he goes, this is an opportunity. This pandemic, it's an opportunity for would you say a great reset? I don't know. For a way to transform the economy, it's a great opportunity. And the third thing that is really important about this is that it's a video of a dinosaur lecturing world leaders. Not a scientist, not an expert, a cartoon dinosaur. Because these are not serious people. This is not a serious issue. This is a power grab based on fear-mongering and bread and circuses and fantasy. The environmentalists who are pushing for this imminent destruction of the world, or pushing for massive global action, the upending of societies to stop the end of the world, they are not serious people. Did you like that clip? I liked that clip as well. I liked that you liked it. If you want to get these notifications, you've got to ring the bell and subscribe. You still probably won't get notifications because some people around here don't particularly care for our show, YouTube. But you can also subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to The Michael Knowles Show. Click that button. Maybe leave a 5-star review. We'll see you next time.